Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hans Truelson, and I am announcing my run for governor. This is my second take, or multiple takes of the video. Anyways, guys, let me tell you the truth. All right, the state of Texas has a lot of issues, and I want to fix them. The problem is, though, we don't really notice that they're issues a lot of the times because it's just kind of the way that our lives are. We get up and we do the same thing day after day after day, but we don't ever stop and think about and ask ourselves, why are these pain points in my life happening? We just assume it's part of the system and we need to just go out and make some more money, right? As long as we get in the top 1%, we're good to go. And, right, there's weird things that happen, right? Everyone's like, I can't afford to have kids. Kids are so expensive, blah, 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 blah. Years ago, maybe 100 years ago, I think, it was common to have 10 kids. People would commonly have literally 10 kids. And now we're like, we've now become so poor that we can only have 2 kids. Why? Why is life more expensive when there's like literally more technology that should make life cheaper? Well, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. It's because of the way that we manage the things that we have, or I should say, mismanage them. And so what I'm doing is I'm running for governor to fix these problems. We all just assume we need to have $1 million and it works. No one should need $1 million. The system is actually fundamentally not good enough for the modern day. And so what we're going to do is we're going to rip out the Texas Constitution. We can keep the Bill of Rights or whatever, but we're just going to rip it out and we're going to start over. We're going to start over from scratch. And the way we're going to do it is we are going to have a simple amendment there, a simple rule that basically just says, we're going to make sure that, we're going to treat people, how we would want to be treated. And so right now, the worst way that the government functions, the most horrible thing about it is the courtroom. A lot of people don't know this, but there's not actually justice in American courts. And the reason why is because it's based on historical things. The judge is considered the king of the court or the queen of the court. They can throw you in jail in Texas, literally up to 6 months for literally any reason. People don't know this. It's called, quote unquote, contempt of court. But there's no, you don't even get a jury trial if you commit a quote-unquote contempt of court. And not only that, listen, I'm just going to tell you guys the actual facts, the actual truth. People should not be obligated to obey a law that they don't agree with. I mean, that's just the facts. If there's a law that you disagree with and you think it's a bad law, you should be able to say, I'm not going to obey it. And you know what? If you have to go into trial and talk about it, they shouldn't be able to throw you in prison just because you didn't obey the law. And some people may say, well, you have to have laws in order for society to function. People will just go rape, murder, and kill. And the fact is, people are not just going to go rape, murder, and kill. In fact, the reason why rape, murdering, and killing is so common is because we don't do what Jesus asked us to do. He said we are supposed to love our enemies. And what that means is this: the governments of the past, I'm just going to quote what he said because everything that needs to be done with the government's already been written in the Bible. Okay? I'm just going to quote it for you. And I mean the New Testament, right? He said this: the rulers of the Gentiles exercise authority over them. What that means, he was talking to Jewish people. He's like, all those other people, their rulers exercise authority over them. To exercise authority means that you say, I'm going to win in the end. My team's bigger than your team, so you better do what we say. We're going to lock you in jail. We're going to hurt you. We're going to beat you up. We're going to do whatever it takes to make you submit, right? That's how the rulers of the Gentiles do it, right? There has to be social order. There has to be some form of cohesion in a society. Otherwise, people have wars break out. People get killed. People get hurt. And so what Jesus said is the way that the Gentiles handle it is they do what's called exercising authority. There's a big fight. Whoever's the smartest, cleverest, best at deal making, whatever it is, for good or for ill, he gets to the top. And, I don't think you get to the top without telling lies most of the time. I mean, it's hard to imagine Julius Caesar got to the top because he was a good person, right? I mean, they would literally tell people to go fight and kill each other. Like, that's not the way that you're supposed to do it. But that's how they built social cohesion. And that's how we do it to this day. We're to throw people in prison. That's an exercise of authority. You better not take drugs or we're throwing you in prison, right? It's when the cop comes and drags you off. Okay, throws the person in prison. That's an exercise of authority, right? He says this is how the rulers of the others do it. But this is what he said, not so among you, right? Whoever wants to become the greatest among you must become the servant of all. And so the way that Christian people should approach government is the exact opposite, right? We want to create that social cohesion, that harmony that changes the world. But he says the way that Christian people do it is the opposite of what other people do. The other people say we have to fight. May the person who's best at fighting, manipulating, whatever, win. But for the Christians, he says, well, you don't have to do that anymore. You just become a servant. And so we create the social cohesion through love, right? That's what Jesus said. They'll know you're my disciples through your love, through service, right? You can win someone's obedience by hurting them, right? Think about your kid, right? You can hit your kid and make your kid do what you say, right? Or you can love your kid and serve your kid on a daily basis. And then because your kid loves you, they will do what you ask because they feel your love. And so that's how Jesus said that Christians are to live life, right? The rulers of the Gentiles use authority as the means of control so that they have cohesion. But Christians don't do that. We act as servants. And so the whole goal of my campaign is to take the truth that Jesus taught, and this has never been done to my knowledge in history before, to take what Jesus taught in the New Testament and apply it to people's lives. And I want to talk to people that are not Christian here, because I know people can get really scared. They'll be like, what, is this you starting a theocracy here? I didn't say take my opinion of what Jesus said and apply it to your life, and if you don't do it, we're going to beat the heck out of you. I'm saying let's do what he actually said, which is if you want to be great, become the servant. There have been plenty of times in history when Christians or any religion, right, have killed the people of the opposite religion. What Jesus said is we are to treat others the way that we want to be treated. And so this is going to have huge and far-ranging effects and impacts, right? The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to say, when it comes to the courtroom, the job of the court is once again to be the servant of the people. That means when people can't get along, they're not going to sit around and be like, you're innocent, you're guilty, you're going to prison, you're not. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to have a system where people are helped to work out their issues, okay? People are going to have to work out their issues. There will be times when crimes that to this day we say that can never be worked out. They will be worked out, and I'm not even going to mention them. But they'll be worked out in court because people will learn how to come to an agreement. They will be able to make deals, right? When the government says, I'm not going to use pain as a tool, right? Jesus said the rulers of the others exercise authority, right? That's using pain or threatening some form of punishment or doing it to cause submission, right? Social cohesion, right? We're not going to do that. We're going to serve. We're going to come up with solutions to take care of people preemptively by loving them and serving them before they get to court most of the time. And when there's a crime, like, I love to talk about this, but when there's an airplane crash, right? The Federal Aviation Administration, they do what's called a root cause analysis. They don't just be like, we found that this engineer messed it up, so we're throwing him in jail, case closed. No, they don't stop until they make sure there's a policy in place so that everybody knows what to do to prevent that from ever happening again. And that's how airplanes become safer and safer and safer. That's what we're going to do with crime. We already know who's going to commit crime before they do it with a high percentage, but we don't do anything about it. We toss people in school for years, which we're going to completely overhaul the education system to where you will have the equivalent of a college degree probably by age 15, maybe age 12, and I think we can do it. And I'm not making this up, right? It's so inefficient the way that we train people, right? Because we're not doing it the way that Jesus said. The way Jesus said to do it is treat others how you would want to be treated. Nobody wants to be forced to go to school. We're not going to make kids go to school. Instead, what we're going to do is anytime kids don't want to go to school, we're going to say, what's wrong with our curriculum? Why don't they enjoy it? Why isn't it fun, right? We are going to do a curriculum that they enjoy because, believe it or not, those kids' brains, they are so smart and so sharp. They learn very quickly what it is that matters and doesn't matter. Like in the modern day, they may be saying, I don't need to be doing this. And we're like, yes, you need to do this because I learned it. And their brain is saying, no, I heard ChatGPT can do this. I should be thinking about something different, right? Their brains know things that our brains are like, yeah, you have to know this. No. Their brains know what's fun. That's how you know what you need to learn. If it's fun for you, your brain is telling you this is a really good idea. It's going to really help you out in the future. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually train them to be incredibly successful from a young age. And I believe that, one of the greatest issues our nation has ever faced is the fact that families are broken in America, like divorce and remarriage. It's a horribly sad thing. Like, peoples are getting heartbreak all the time, and they're like, I'm acting tough, it doesn't hurt me, and everybody's just dying on the inside. And I just think getting school done by age 15 is necessary, because people don't want to wait until 26 or 27 to start a family, and people are having so many problems because they get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whatever, and they break up, and then by the time they're finally married, they don't even hardly, there's nothing special about the person that they marry, right? I want kids to be able to have, honestly, intimacy with some of the opposite gender in a safe and healthy way when they're ready, so that they know that once you find your person, we have a system in place to where we make sure that you guys will be able to love each other and live together for life. Because that's how I believe humans were made, right? Kids, Jesus said, what God did join, don't let man separate. And nobody wants to be separated from their kid. And so we have a system where people can come together in a safe and healthy way. And this is just the beginning, guys. We're going to have so many policies in place where we change the world forever, and we treat people how we would want to be treated. What I want to do is I want to make absolutely certain that, we want to make absolutely certain that every single person in Texas is treated right, from the rich to the poor. And so what we're going to do is we're going to institute social policies that actually help take care of everybody. And I mean this. We're going to have social policies to where nobody has to work for money ever again. Jesus said this: you can serve God, you can serve money, right? Jesus gave us the blueprint in the Bible, but no civilization, no society, as far as I know, has ever actually tried to truly implement in a government. And it's really hard to do, and I'm really grateful for America that I have the right to speak and say this. But he said you can't serve God and money at the same time. We are going to create a way and a system that you don't have to use any money if you don't want to ever. Everything that you do, it's going to get to be for love. And I'm going to tell you guys the absolute truth. When if you offer to pay me $100 and I do a service for you, we both got something equal from it, right? So you never know if I love you or cared about you. We don't build a relationship. We build sort of a business relationship, but it's not a real relationship. A real relationship means, yeah, I took care of you. If it wasn't for me, your toilet wouldn't work and you'd be overflowing. You're welcome, dude. Right? That's a relationship that lasts maybe not a lifetime, but you're always going to thank me for it if I know how to fix it and you didn't, right? But if I get paid for it, it doesn't build a relationship, right? That's the problem with money. That's why I believe one of the reasons why Jesus said money is unrighteous, right? And everything we do in the modern day is based on a money economy. Not everything, but there's a huge amount of what we do that's based on a financial economy. And Jesus is saying, look, you can't serve God and money at the same time, right? People are eternal, right? So building that relationship is serving God. I'm going to go fix your toilet because you know what? That's the golden rule. If my toilet was overflowing and I didn't know how to fix it, I would want someone to come fix it for me for free. Now, listen, I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying the golden rule is you want someone to come fix it and you want to thank them out of the kindness of your heart. If I'm having a great year, you know what? I want to give you something as a big thank you. If I'm having a hard year, I'm so sorry. This is all I can do to help you out, right? We don't want people taking advantage of us, right? So we're going to create a brand new system. I'm literally, guys, I want to tell you all about it, but there's not enough time. It's going to be a brand new system where nobody's going to have to do working for money. You're not going to have to go out and get a job. You're not going to have to go out and, do marketing and advertising. Instead, we're going to have a simple way where you can contribute every single day in the ways that you want to. And people are going to have so much fun for the first time at work in Texas. Everybody's going to get to have a job that they love. And when I say you're going to get to have a job, I really mean it. People love doing things to help. If you look at kids love to help. They love to serve. School kind of beats it out of you. So you get so bored and you don't want to work. But people love helping. They love serving. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a way that people can get involved to help, to love, and to serve. And we'll make a system, we'll make a path, we'll make a program to where you don't have to do it for money. And that means everything is about love and relationship. And we're going to do what Jesus said, which is live our lives by love, right? That's what Jesus said. A new command I give you, that you guys love one another the way that I have loved you. Right? He said, greater love hath no man than this, and that he laid down his life for his friends. And I want to close by circling back to, our criminal justice situation. It's just a big issue, right? Because Jesus said, if you don't forgive, God won't forgive you. But if you forgive those who sin against you, your Heavenly Father will also forgive you. And one of the important lessons that we all have to learn in life is learning how to let go when people hurt us. Jesus said, when someone steals from you, this is in Luke, he's like, don't even ask for it back. Don't even ask for it back, right? We hold on to our possessions so tightly. But what Jesus wants us to do is to see the person in front of us, right? And so what we do as a government is we start coming up with ways where if there's theft, instead of getting angry, I like to think of God looking down on us as like we're his little kids. If you've had kids, maybe there was a fight, maybe the kids like wanted a toy and there was only one toy and they fought over it, and maybe one kid punched the other and you're like freaking out. You're like, why are my kids punching each other over this little toy, right? That's kind of how I think God looks at us. Like we're like putting people in prison over the little toys, and we act like it's our toy, we're like, it's mine, and God's probably looking down and being like, you guys, that's mine. Everything's mine. Stop arguing, So I want us to think about it. It's not saying it's okay for people to steal, right? We teach our kids, learn the bigger picture, learn to share, learn to be patient. Hey, if they took it, you can come talk to me about it, right? You can always pray to God about it. We can work together, right? So the goal is this is not being like, we're going to have, this system where you don't have any rights. That's not what it's about. This is about being mature. Like, you love your kids. You care about them having quote unquote rights, but it's not about their rights. It's about teaching them how to become good and loving people, how to interact in a healthy way with others. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to teach people how to interact in a healthy and loving way. So anyways, I could go on talking about the incredible and amazing ideas that are going to happen, but I'm trying to keep my videos a little bit short. So God bless you. And you know what? Jesus bless you.